Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this moment with Carolyn and Lisa presenting Diamond Mother Ring. So we are here to illuminate the core of the feminine force, and this morning Carolyn is going to share some of her reflections to start.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And yeah, our theme for today is, creating that feminine force field. And I was kind of reflecting on, what is the feminine force field for anyone who doesn't really understand what we're talking about, And, it kind of got me to think about, the link between what I would say, emotions and creativity, And I suppose for me, even why we're here, my kind of origin story, I guess, for kind of creating and collaborating with Lisa around this, to really empower people to look at their emotions was, I suppose from being a mother myself, I think it has changed me hugely, and it's given me this, deep compassion for not just my own children, but, children all over the world, in all countries, because I think when you become a mother, you don't just think of your own children, like I've had my house is kind of an open door into all has always been that way. Maybe I was raised that way. I was raised in a small little village, and it was kind of an open door to everyone. And my next door neighbor, they had 9 kids, and we lived in a little village. Yeah, and we lived in a little row of houses in the village, and everybody knew each other. So the village raised us, so like everybody was connected. Everybody was really supported each other. And I always felt then, I suppose, when I became a mum, that was something that was part of my responsibility as well. So that when it kind of, I suppose, when my kids got to a certain age and they're in their teens now, I have a bit more free time to turn around and see how I can, help, I suppose, the struggle, I suppose, that a lot of families are having around with emotions and with connection. So I suppose what I was thinking was that it's amazing how like the driving force of my creativity and creativity itself is actually emotion, and I feel that it's such a thing, or like I am just so in love with creativity and I adore it in every way, in every form of expression. But I think we don't have that innovation and creativity when we are afraid and deny our emotions, because they are, how they're the driving force behind creativity, So when we deny that and we try to suppress it, we're suppressing our creativity as well,
Yes.
And it's interesting how when we push down our negative emotions, we're often pushing down our positive emotions as well. And our emotions, how we can be connected to other people, and how we can actually express ourselves, authentically. And that is actually kind of something, I suppose, that denies the world, such beauty, because everybody brings gorgeous kind of flavor and essence, and whether it's expressed in music or art or writing or even in business or whatever we do, if we do it from what drives us, which is our emotion or compassion, or what we see in the world as being difficult. And I know that, I suppose, Lisa, like it's so important for people to kind of have this education, because I think the fear of going into emotion is really kind of something that is holding us back to responding to the times that we're in, and people are wondering, why are we not able to solve the climate crisis and all the different problems in the world? And I really see it's the key, it's the
Yeah.
key, this bridge that we're trying to create. Like we have this, we are here, we're trying to get to this, this place of this tsunami of innovation that we need. And for me, the gap in between there is really the emotional world, like to try and build that stability across and try to support people across, to that, to the other side. And, it can be very kind of overwhelming sometimes, but I love the education and the understanding that we're trying to bring, because it's an ease that we're trying to bring to that, to understanding that it can be an easier way of living, because instead of,
Yes.
I know for myself, for many years, like I found, it quite difficult to see, where we are in the planet, and you feel like you want to turn away because it seems too much. But when you actually turn to face it and you face into those feelings, then you start to become empowered and become able to actually just, step by step, slowly start to feel like you're making a difference, and making a change, not just in your own life, but in the world at large.
Yeah, I love that, because it's so true, isn't it? And actually, Adam just sort of said a lot of echoed what you were just saying then. Hi, Adam. It's good to see you
Hi,
this morning.
Adam.
He said, so we all have that force field within us. So his question is, why do people live with the fear of letting their barriers down from time to time? And that's pretty much, well, echoed what you were saying, in that when we don't understand our emotional world, the fear of what we're seeing and what our life is like is just so overwhelming that we can't, well, not only can we not tap into that creativity, but we can't actually be present for what's happening in the world, which means we can't actually really help. And what I notice is there are two, like I really wanted to, because what I heard from you was motive, right? So it comes back to motive. When you're understanding your emotions and you know how to work with them, and the thing is, the truth is, Adam, we haven't been taught how to do that, right? So there is not a cultural, hey, this is really cool, we can embrace our emotions as part of who we are. We don't have to deny parts of ourselves all the time. We know about emotion, we know what it's like, we know we can move through the emotion, because the emotion is separate to the event. The event might be big, but it's our emotion. If we can deal with our emotion, then we can cope with the event. And I think, Adam, that for me, the majority of it is because we just have not had that education. We just don't have that understanding. And then what happens is, when we do understand, our motive changes. So, just going back to, what you were saying, Carolyn, about wanting to help. So if I don't understand the way my emotions work, and if I'm not sitting in my feminine force, I might want to help others, but I'm helping them because I need them to like me, or I need them to want me, or I have to do something to be better. And what happens is I end up abandoning myself. I used to do this all the time. I would help people, but I would be abandoning the true me, like doing things that sometimes I really didn't want to do. And then I would get resentful. So that would create a really unhealthy dynamic. But when I'm sitting in my feminine force, the actions I take are much more effective. Like, I can see what needs to be done, but also I don't abandon myself to do it.
Yeah.
So if I see something that needs to be done, and I go, that really doesn't feel right. I don't think that's my job to do that. That doesn't feel right. I won't do it just to be, accepted, or to help people, or, to please, or because I know that if I do, then that creates an unhealthy dynamic. But I have to be able to understand my emotions and where I'm at, and see those little behaviors that perhaps I used to do in the past, so that I don't step into them right now. And then, because my motive comes from love and I'm in my feminine force, when I do go out into the world and when I do help people, it's very pure. It has no strings attached.
Yeah.
It is just, and it's clear and it's powerful, because it's very, it's not in this unhealthy dynamics. It's in a completely different, different realm, if you want to say, or a different paradigm. So it's much more effective, and there's no fight. Like you see a lot of fight sometimes when people want to change things,
Yeah.
and that fight is the inner fight projecting out. So you want to be able to stay in the love and in the feminine force when you go out into the world to do things, because otherwise you're just creating more of what you don't want.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love that point because I see that so much, and it's another kind of, I suppose, blind spot when it comes to even activism and things like that, you know, because people maybe haven't, they have this drive, they want to do something, but they're coming from a place that isn't aligned really, you know, maybe they haven't gone into their and done that work in that self-awareness. So they're like that, projecting their shadow, and they're causing more division for the, you know, and they feel like they are in action, we'll say, but it's not maybe, you know, that kind of integrated love in action, and that from the feminine force, where it's always, I see, is being inspired. You know, there's a different quality to it, like you were saying, it's clean and pure, and it's encompassing and taking everybody into consideration, like the whole of society, the whole of it's universal. You know, it's a universal care that you know that you're responding to, and you know that it's specific to your talents and your abilities, and then that you don't feel responsibility, like you said, you know, you don't, it's not as overwhelming then, because you know that you're doing what you were designed to do, and then you're on, and everybody else, if supporting, like we're supporting other people to find what exactly what they're uniquely designed to do as well, you know. So there's a different quality, and it's such an important point for these times, because it's trying to kind of channel that creativity, and the channeling of it has to come from that pure intention, you know. And we can only get to the pure intention when we purified our emotional world.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. I love that. I love that. And that it's so interesting, because it's almost like what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Because you purify the intention, and you have this courage, and you have this, you know, determination to purify your intention, and to help and be really effective, you know. And so it's almost like in purifying, you get this courage to help you do the purification process. Because, you know, I was reminded of a story then, you know, a lady I worked with, and she was fighting what was, you know, like she was seeing the world and she was fighting it, she's fighting it and fighting it. And I said to her, you know, I agree, there's a lot of, you know, like, I'm not denying anything that you're saying. However, for me, like, what is that in you that's making that this enemy and fighting this, you know? I think, you know, like, could I suggest that we look at it another way? And she actually just said to me, no, I'm not ready to do that yet. I don't want to do that. You know, I have to fix this, you know, I want to fight this. And I said, yeah, okay, I understand that, you know. So some people, you know, will feel, because this is the dynamic that we've been raised in. And I've experienced this myself. We're raised in this dynamic, and to let it go is, you think it's not going to get done. You think, if I let go, nobody's going to do it. If I don't do this, if I don't stick with this, if I don't fight it, if I don't fix it, it's not going to be fixed. But actually it will be. That's just the story, or the mind creates that illusion that you feel that you have to keep doing it. But actually, if you do step out of it and go into your feminine force, you'll find that you can be a lot more effective in actually solving the solutions, you know, solving the problems that you're looking to solve.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, Lisa. And what do you feel this feminine force field actually, how do you sense it? Like, because like that, I think the sensing world, you know, is so important, because like there's a flavor to emotion, isn't there? You know, and there's a kind of a, when you get more proficient, and you kind of go, what's that feeling, like that kind of flavor? That's an old flavor. So it's really, you know, to me, it's kind of like has a beautiful lightness to it. Like, I don't know about yourself, like when you feel that, like, you know that you're working from that place. It has completely different energy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And, you know, it feels easy, right? So for me, if I feel conflict, or if I feel like that, I'll go, oh, there's something that I need to look at here. Like, I'm feeling all the time, and I'm paying attention all the time, you know, and I'm actually grateful for it. If that comes up, I go, oh, that's good. That, you know, like, because there's something in me that I need to actually have a look at right now, so that I can free myself more in this life experience. And so I'm like, oh, welcome, come in, because I want to be more free. I want to be as
Yes,
free as I can be living in this
exactly.
life, right?
And like what
So
Adam just said there about about letting go. Is it the fear of letting go? Yeah, it is that, isn't
and it is a fear of letting go. And like I had this experience once where, I can remember being frightened of letting go of this thing, and I was just like so fearful of it. And I was hanging on, and I was actually walking around the house looking at this fear, going, why can't I let this go? Why can't I let this,
it? Yeah, yeah,
and I can remember I
yeah.
was like,
I
and then I
know.
thought,
Yeah.
you know what? Like I was trying to figure out how to let it go,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
But the
yeah,
thing is, you know what it is? You've just got to go, oh,
yeah.
it's just like, it's just a thought. And it was almost like as soon as I just went, you know what? I've just got to let it go. And
Poof.
all of a sudden I just switched. I went from, I stopped trying to figure out how to let it go. And I just went, oh, it's just like a trap of my mind. It's just a figment of my imagination creating a thing that I believe in. And as soon as I
Yes,
stepped into that, oh, that's all it is. And I just let it go. I didn't have to, because when we're trapped in our mind, it's very hard to let go of fear, so it's almost like we have to sort of step back
exactly.
but
Yeah, yeah, and it's actually that's funny when you said it because actually Adam there as well was saying about when I says I listen to Caroline talking and all I hear is identity because that sounds exactly what I talk about. I suppose we're going from different stages. Like it's actually like as if we've created an identity for ourselves outside of ourselves, and it's actually a thought system that
yeah.
we're looking at, and we identify with that thought creation. And when that's attacked or diminished in a certain way, we feel, we feel attacked. We feel, and actually, what's happening there is like what you're saying that the emotion that's attached to that is what we're letting go of, and we're actually letting
Yes.
when we do that, we're letting go of this ego identity. We're actually letting
Yeah.
go of the ego because it's actually like those emotions that are attached to this identity that we've created within ourselves that we're attached to. It's not our true identity. So like
Yeah.
coming back then to our true identity is realizing that, like you said, it's just a thought system and emotions attached to it. It's nothing
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
letting go of that, and it's just coming back then to that true essence of who we are, and our true identity is kind of letting go of those false identities that are ego based, like, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it does get easier, like, because
Yeah.
what's happening is every time you let go of some of those feelings that hold you back and you're more comfortable in your own skin, you're also more in your own power, in the seat of your own power, which is your feminine force. And the more that you're in your heart and you're in that who you
Mm.
really are, and you're feeling your body and you're feeling your presence in this moment, the more
Mm.
courageous you are. So the next time that comes up, you have this added bit of courage, right? So it does get easier. And also you've been
Mm.
through the process a couple of times. So you're like, okay, I know how this unfolds. I just have to come back into myself. I have to breathe into my heart, and I just have to, and trust,
Yes.
because you're building trust all the time in
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
and the more you trust yourself, the more easier it is to let go of all these things,
Yeah.
because you don't have to hold on to things. So yeah,
Yes.
they're very much a process, isn't it?
I absolutely love though that is the word that I hold on to all the time. It's like trust, trust, trust. Because that's the keeps you in that feminine force field. That
Mm,
it's always creative. You're surrendered to the design process of life. And you're just flowing. You're in flow then,
mm,
aren't you? When you're in that kind of deep trusting. And I suppose with that, you can hold that feeling within your body more readily. It's like practice, isn't it?
mm. Yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely is. Definitely is. It's a beautiful process. It's a
yeah,
beautiful process. So, Carolyn, I think we've unpacked some beautiful gems this morning. We
yeah.
could obviously keep talking forever, but we did make a commitment to hold these lives short and
Yes,
punchy. So
exactly.
we'll move on and make little notes about and talk about this some more, because I think there's a lot of juiciness in this topic.
Yeah.
Also wanted to remind you to register for our Diamond Mother series. It's a 3-event series. There is one that you can watch on replay, and the other two are coming up. The links are below this. Please come along and join us on a date, because we'd really love to. The next we're going to start talking about is uncovering your diamond in the rough. So how do you actually find the feminine force in you? And, you know, it's going to be a really juicy topic. So please register and join us. And anything else I need to remember, Carolyn?
And that's it. But I think we gave them a taster of maybe what the feminine force feels like, and how we can move towards that, finding it, you know, that diamond within the rough. So we'll, yeah, that's amazing. And thanks so much for Adam for listening, and everybody in the playback. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And we have the feminine first aid coming up, don't we? Tomorrow night?
Feminine first aid, yes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night, this time tomorrow, wherever you are, feminine first aid with Julie Turner. She's going to talk about the parent-child dynamics. So she's a hypnotherapist, and it should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. So same time, same place tomorrow night. And look after yourselves, guys, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.